This video will show you how to log hours on the ArctechPro system and what to do before you actually start logging hours. So two areas that we need to touch on very quickly before you can start logging hours are the user section and the settings section. So when I go into my users, there's a number of users set up. If I want to go ahead and add a new user, click on new staff, and I can enter in the email address, password, security question, security answer, full name, status, user type, sanctions, home, work and mobile, contact details. In terms of the status, it's either active or inactive. The user type, then in terms of that, is whatever you decide you want your user types to be on your ArctechPro account. So again, you can add in the different types of user there is, and there's always going to be a rate against each one of these types of users. So be very careful when you are selecting the user type that it is the correct one with the user in mind. So if I want to say a director or a partner or a technician. The sanctions then are basically admin, team lead, staff and client. The admin can see everything, so at the moment we're logged in onto an admin user. Team lead and staff then have limited resources to what they can and can't see, and again you can allow team leads to see a little bit more than a staff user. So if I just cancel out of this and go to my settings and I scroll down to an option here on the ArctechPro system of user type and rates, and you'll see that's where all my user types are being pulled from. So from technician all the way down to office manager, there's an hourly rate against each one of these user types, and there's hours per day. Now the overtime rate is actually blank on this particular account, but what you need to do when you're setting up a user is you need to fill in the overtime rate even if it is the same as the hourly rate as well. So if I was to set up a new user type in terms of the system, so if I want to click on new user type and just type in a type of person that I would want to have on the system, so if I wanted to put in senior associate, hourly rate of 85 per hour, standard hours 8 and overtime rate of 85 as well. Click on save. So it'll bring me back up to the top of the page. If I just scroll down again, there's the senior associate has been added. If I was to go in there, back to the system, or back to the users should I say, and click on a particular user there, if I wanted to scroll down and click on, say for example, Rachel Singh, and I wanted to select the user type there, I would change partner to senior associate and click on save. So when Rachel comes in and logs her hours, she'll be able to log hours, and the system will pick up that Rachel is logging hours at a rate of £85 per hour or €85 per hour, whatever account you're using. Now if I just come into the settings again, I did touch on just previously that in terms of the user types, not the user type should I say, the sanctions. You can see here the sanctions set up for particular users, so the staff, team lead and admin. Admin can obviously see everything and create projects and invoices. Then you can say that projects can be created by staff and team leads or only by team leads and admin, and invoices can be created by admin, and then if you want you can make it so that the invoices are allowed to be created by team leads, and click on save. But in terms of the login hours, I would just get back to the login hours system. In terms of the user has been set up and the user type has been set up as well, and you've given the type to the particular user. So say for example, as I said, Rachel Singh has been set up and has been given a user type of a senior associate, and that's at a rate of £85 or euro per minute. If I then wanted to come in as Rachel Singh, or Rachel Singh wanted to come in and start logging hours, she would log onto this page and click on the login hours section here. Now she can have a few different ways to log hours, and select the date, select the time. So if I wanted to put in that I worked a few hours here, and the projects, so you then pick the projects you're working on, Abbey Court. If we go to a project there, London Apartments, and if we want to pick a step within each one of those, develop design, a stage there, say technical design, or if I want to change it to strategic. So you'll notice here on the right hand side that there's two little circles popping up, and there's expenses and expenses popping up, plus expenses against each one of these. So if I want to actually come in and add an extra expense, I can do so on both of those accounts. Now there are other ways to do that, or if I click on the actual color code there, you'll see the hours logged against the hours allocated. So in this particular project, 250 hours had been allocated, and over to 513 hours had been logged. So obviously on this project here, it's gone way over on the hours that should have been logged against it in terms of strategic definition. Slightly over on preparation and brief, but then when you start to come into the bottom here, you'll see 27 hours against 250 for construction. So it just gives you a quick overview of the hours logged versus the hours allocated in terms of a bar chart, and also in terms of numerical values there on the right hand side, and then the progress of each one of those work stages as well. So you can see, for example, on the develop design stage here, there's only been 93 hours logged against an allocated hours of 120. So you might be thinking, why is that going red? But if you actually look at the progress of the work stage, it's only been 12% has been completed, so that's why it's popping up in red for yourselves. So I'm not actually logged in as Rachel at the moment. I'm logged in as another user, which will be Jason Boyle as far as I know. So if I just finish this out in terms of the different stages, again I can type in whatever I want to type in there as well if I wanted to put in additional information, and I can also decide that some of these hours are not billable, and I can click on save log entries, and I'm logged in as Rachel. So there you go, you can see Monday the 23rd there's been hours logged, so 2 hours spent on London apartments, and 3 hours spent on Abbey Court, and 5 hours in the whole day, and 1 hour spent on Sunday the 22nd, and that was spent on Shannon Edge and leasing offices. Now if I wanted to do it in terms of a weekly view instead of a daily view, I can click on the weekly view and it'll pull up all the projects that I've been working on already over the week, and I can select the stage then within that. And again, you'll see that on the right hand side the green circle is appearing again, and again I can put in tasks, and then I can just type in the hours for a particular project. So if I knew I spent an hour on develop design on the 16021 Barn Hall development, I can just put that in along all the days and click on save entries, and that would save all the entries for myself there. As I said, as Rachel's saying, and you just click on save entries, and that would do the weekly view. So you can see then, if I just change the date range to do the 23rd up until the 28th, you can see the hours that are being logged there. There's an hour logged against each one of those days, and there's 6 hours being logged on today's date. Now I can also pull it back from, say if I go to last Monday, it'll show me a bar chart of all the hours logged from Monday the 16th up until Sunday the 29th. And that'll show you the hours logged, and you can go back as much as you want in terms of these hours logged, or you can select the report section to go into more detail on logging hours. Now some other ways to log hours then is, obviously we have the weekly view and the daily view. Another way you can do it is through a diary view, and that basically opens up the diary for yourself from today's date. So if I wanted to log hours, I could come in and say from 7 o'clock, I just click with my mouse and I just drag down, and I can say that I logged 2 hours, and a pop-up box will appear, and I can edit that a little bit. So if I wanted to put in that it was, instead of being 7 o'clock, I put in 10 past 7. I can select the project, I can then select the stage, and I can select put in a detail there as well. I can say if it's billable or not, and I can click on save. So you can use the diary view, or then if you wanted to, you could always use another option of logging hours, and that's to be able to select one day and just select all the projects that you worked on within that day. And you can put in all the different stages that you worked on. You can type it in a task. Now it's on this account, I haven't set it up that you can type in the task, but you can type in the task there, or you can put in a detail there as well, an extra bit of information, and then just write in the number of hours there, so on all the projects. And then again, there's the option to put in billable or not billable, and then on the right hand side you have your color coded information to let you know if you are over or under on the hours against each one of those stages. And then you can add expenses by clicking on the add expenses option there on the right hand side, and you can click save log entries there. So that's the 4 different ways how you would log hours within ArctechPro. So again, it just depends on what type of office you guys use yourselves, and what would be the most beneficial for each individual office to use ArctechPro to log the hours. And that's it.